am done. I'm alcoholic. It's not really a concert. It's an intervention. We've gathered today to talk about your behavior. I've got $300 bills that are all brand new. They are begging me to think of something cool to do. How about I'll take you downtown, spend them all on you. I don't want to stay home tonight. We have worked so hard for so many years, built a home, a life, a family, and 2 careers. Saved our money for the future, now the future is here. I don't want to stay home tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home again tonight. Me and Michael, Johnny, Richard, Ruthie, and Joan all had bouts with cancer last year, you know. If cancer was a man, I would punch him in the throat. I don't want to stay home tonight. 'Cause time isn't sentimental, it doesn't seem to care about your plans or your hopes and dreams. It just keeps track of your minutes and wipes the slate clean. I don't want to stay home tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home again tonight. Well, I know we can't party like we did before. Can't stay out till 4 in the morning no more. But the house is paid off and the kids are all grown. What the hell have we been working for? Let's take a nap. Take our inhalers. Take a multivitamin. And then go out to hear some music with all of our friends who didn't die from the way we used to party back then. I don't want to stay home tonight. 'Cause time isn't sentimental, it doesn't seem to care about your plans or your hopes and dreams. It just keeps track of your minutes, wipes the slate clean. I don't want to stay home tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home, can't stay home. I can't stay home again tonight. Thank you. I have been married for, 43 years. Congratulate me. Come on, now that's not bad. This is a song that I wrote after my son went to college and my wife realized that there wasn't going to be any buffer between us anymore. It was a very difficult moment for Mrs. White, and she's so happy that I traveled to exotic places like North Reading and shared this story with groups of strangers. Rascal is the dog, he ain't too bright. Me and Rascal were sitting on the couch last night when my woman come in and started to cry. She looked at us with such terror in her eyes. She said, I have raised these children for 18 years while you have done nothing. Oh look, we found the pulse of the audience already. And now they're growing up, and they're moving out of here, and my big reward for all that I have been through is this dog is dumb as mud. And looked at me in disbelief. He said, she can't be talking about you and me. She has got us to spend the rest of her whole life with. Would you please tell her how incredibly lucky she is? And I said, who is gonna love you any better than this will wake you up every morning with the big wet kisses when we hear the police sirens in your neighborhood. We throw our heads up in the air and we howl for you. That's cool. You gotta admit, that's pretty cool. Well, you know, I don't believe we had succeeded in convincing her of the outrageous good fortune that had just befallen her. In fact, instead of looking happy as she could be, she looked a little bit, well, you know, suicidal to me. But hey, kids go to college, kids move away, but dogs and husbands, that's who stay. To you it seems like a terrible trick of fate, but me and Rascal don't see it that way. We're thinking, ain't we cuddly, ain't we cute? We're both real funny, both real true. There's another thing about us that's very cool. If you scratch us on our belly, our left leg moves. And you gotta admit that's cool. Alright, I feel like I'm scaring some of the new people. Okay, so maybe we ain't that smart. We're a couple of mutts with a lot of heart. New people, this is what I look like when I'm flirting. And when I need new medication. But no one could ever love you better or give you more loyalty than this dog. As dumb as mud. This dog is dumb as mud. This dog is dumb as mud. To me, how lucky can one girl be? She got a dog like you and a man like me. We'll be together well into this next century. Put that knife down, babe. Thank you for coming out tonight. Okay, so I want you to look around, with the exception of one unfortunate young person, here or two maybe, who are, did something bad this week and this is their punishment. With the exception of them, take them out of the list and just look around and just in your mind, just picture the average age of the audience here. Don't speak that number. Do not speak that horrible number. Right, so now you have that number right here, and that's you people are my demographic. Can you believe that? You're my demographic, you're my audience. How much money do you think the music business has spent on you as a demographic in the last 40 years? How's that number look? Well, you're all I have. And I want you to take care of yourselves. I want whatever your doctor says to do, you need you to do it, because when you bump off, nobody's coming behind you to fill the seat. It's just like diminishing returns here, people. So as a demographic, there's a lot of things about you that you wouldn't think about. One, my demographic, you people, don't like to come out at night. I can't believe that you came out at night. Thank you for coming out at night. Do you remember when you were 17, when some old person said to you, I don't like to drive at night? Do you remember what you were thinking? You're like, what? I don't like to drive at night. Why? It's because of the glare. The what? The glare. So here you all are, braving the glare and endangering other motorists to come to my concert. It's a high-risk activity and a noble endeavor. So thank you so much for that. I'm not taking questions. This is not. And it's raining too. We have filtered down to the most risk-taking of the demographic. So let me give you an example. Tuesday night, my daughter's 22 years old. I'm walking past the bathroom to go to bed. It's midnight on a Tuesday night. I look, and she's putting eye makeup on. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, the band goes on at midnight. I'm like, on Tuesday? How about I do a show here next Tuesday at midnight? Who's coming? Nobody. I do a concert. Place is full. Some guy from another venue, it's like a Saturday night, another venue will come and he'll hire me to play his room on like a Wednesday night. I'll go to his venue, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8:45. Nobody! Not one single person. He'll say to me, Don, where is your audience? The room was full on Saturday. I'll say, well, let's think about this. It's a Wednesday night. It's 8:45. They're in their pajamas. Am I lying about this? But you're all I got, and I'm going to follow you all the way to the nursing home. Kids are grown, they're both in their 20s. They live at home, they're never going to leave. Why should they go? They've got it good here, you know. Their food, their phone, their rent is free. They would have to be out of their minds to leave. But I was thinking, what if things were different? You know, living here at home with you and me. What if we decided we could act like they both did when they were in their teens? So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I've got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. We'll both get really drunk, we'll put a big dent in her trunk. Now we'll drive real fast on the thoroughfare. If we get a speeding ticket, hey, we won't care. We'll beat the ones up all night acting wild. They'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wake up, mom, climb out of this window. Come on out, be 16 with me. Picture our kids calling all of our friends up and asking them if they know where we are. Of course, all our friends will lie and say they ain't seen us all night. But we'll be standing right beside them while they're on the phone, smoking and drinking and carrying on. And we come strolling home on Sunday morning, you know, around 10 o'clock while the neighbors walk to church. Our kids will ask us where we've been, and then they'll ask us again, and we will just make up a great big lie and swear that it's the truth until the day we die. And they'll be the ones trying to find the truth out. We'll be the ones who are lying through our teeth. And under pressure, we'll confess that we had unprotected sex. That will gross them out so much they might just start to think about moving out. Let that sink in for a minute. Just try to absorb that vision. Just the visuals of that, just for a minute. If turnabout is fair play in this life, then what better way to encourage them to leave than to give them both a dose of what it was like to live with them when they were in their teens. So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. We will both get really drunk, we'll put a big dent in her trunk, and no one will know where park until we come home in the police car. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild, and they'll be the ones up all night worrying. Wake up, mama, climb out of this window. Oh man, be careful. You're not as young as you used to be. That's 40 feet down there. I should have brought a ladder, probably. You know what? The kids are both drunk and passed out. Let's just go out the front door. Come on out and be 16 with me. 'Cause I remember you when you were 16. You were the most beautiful thing that I had ever seen. So wake up, mama, wake up, mama, wake up, mama, and be 16 with me. So I have written two books in my life. I'm a guy from Lynn, Massachusetts, who's written 2 books. I can't be too many of us who could say that. I want you to notice that. I only got a bunch of my Lynn friends here. Like, I wrote a book. I'm from Lynn. I want you to look like this. Look at it. No picture. Oh, words in here. My first book is called Memoirs of a C Student. That's the name of my first book. It took 5 years to write that book. If I was a B student, I could have done it in a week, probably. This book I wrote during COVID, because I had nothing to do, and it's called The Hitchhiking Years and 4 Other Stories. So half of this book, like 130 pages, is about my wife and I left Lynn, Massachusetts, graduated from classical high school in 1974, and we stuck our thumbs out and hitchhiked for 3 years. Do you believe that? You're looking at somebody who hitchhiked for 3 years with his girlfriend that he's still married to now. Like, I have to be the only living person on earth that can speak that sentence, right? I know you can't see this because of the demographic thing, but this is a photograph. In 1975, which this picture was taken, people didn't have a camera in everybody's pocket. You know what I mean? This was a Polaroid. It's the only photograph of us, and we're standing beside the highway. I'm 17 in this picture, and we're hitchhiking in Texas. And on the backside, we went down to the Linway in Lynn, and we stuck our thumbs out we look like 2 homeless people. Now, my wife has said to me, yeah, I'll take this photograph, but the only places I'm hitchhiking to is like the Marriott. So I'm going to read a little bit from this in the hope that you'll go in a book buying frenzy during the intermission. So I have to tell you, 3 years of hitchhiking it really changed us, and I didn't realize how much it changed, how much it shaped us until I had to remember it all and think about it, you know. And one of the things is that we traveled probably just in those 3 years, maybe 50,000 miles. We hitchhiked to Alaska and Newfoundland and just got hopelessly addicted to freedom. And we did it all on the kindness of strangers. And if you flick on TV or your phone, you'll be convinced that there's nobody friendly in the world at all. That everyone's trying to kill you. But our experience is the opposite of that. We had no choice but to wait till somebody was nice to us, and somebody was always nice to us every single day of those 3 years. And that's an important thing to keep in your mind when you're being fed information. How, think about it this way. Like, when something terrible happens, let's say in the western part of the state, right? They take a camera crew and they drive to go film the horrible thing that happened. My dad was a gambler, and he would always say, what is the math on this? How many houses full of people that didn't do anything bad do they have to pass to get to see this guy? That's the math of it, 100,000 to 1, right? And we are a living example of that. And we also didn't have anybody to call or anything like that, so we got used to the idea of not panicking at the beginning of a situation. Do you know? I don't want to preach at you, but I'm kind of saying this in amazement because I've learned it about myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when something bad happens, your brain normally goes to the worst possible thing that can happen, right? It's like a survival instinct, If that could be a tiger over there, he's probably going to kill me. I should prepare myself, right? But we couldn't do that. We had to step back and go, let's see what happens. Let this play out. And so as a result, over the raising the kids and being together all these years, we haven't given away any days at the beginning of a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like the first thing comes, we don't waste 3 days until we know how it's going to play out by panicking and imagining the worst thing. We just kind of have learned to step back and do it. And so here we go. This is called the Alcan Highway, this chapter. I have seen, driven on, stood beside, bounced untethered in the back of pickup trucks for miles upon, and inhaled deep into my lungs the dust of many dirt roads in my life. But never could I have imagined a stretch of gravel as impressive as the Alaska-Canada Highway. When we set out to hitchhike this beast in 1975, it was approximately 1,400 miles of dirt. If a similar road extended west from Boston, your tires would not touch asphalt until you reached Omaha. Of course, it's all paved now, which means that North America is no longer able to provide a similar experience to the one that Teresa and I had in July of that year. Not only was it unpaved, but being the only land route for supplies destined for Alaska, it attracted a very special breed of unhinged truck drivers who drove it at high speeds with an attitude that was just a smidgen beneath reckless abandon. The first time we were nearly blown off the side of the road and into the Yukon wilderness by a truck driving 75 miles per hour, pulling 3 fully loaded trailers on this epic stretch of gravel, we knew we were entering a world that was peopled with a tribe of humans we had not previously encountered. A second, impossible to ignore indication that our docket of new experiences would soon include a series of fresh entries were the road signs. The first one we leaned our backpacks against had taken at least 1 and possibly 2 shotgun blasts. Permanently relinquishing its intended information to the realm of conjecture. Standing beneath a bullet-riddled sign that drunks, kids, moms, and clergymen shot at out the passenger window with a nonchalance reminiscent of the way most folks would wave to a neighbor was a bit intimidating and spoke volumes. There is a sulfur hot spring along the highway in northern British Columbia called Leard. Today there are changing stations, wheelchair access, a playground, and a restaurant. To my recollection, when our driver pulled over and said he wanted us to experience something special, there was a wooden boardwalk to the site and nothing else. We walked a short distance through swamp and boreal forest. You could feel the heat before the path opened to reveal a pool of water with steam rising from it. A stream fed the area so you could get warmer or cooler by swimming toward or away from the hot spring. Sulfur, in case you don't know, smells like rotten eggs. In my life, I have had more than my share of rotten egg experiences. This would turn out to be my favorite. Teresa had told me that when she was a little girl, she loved the TV westerns and the stories about pioneers and wagon trains. And before she was old enough to know that she had been born a century too late, she was sure that when she grew up, she would be a pioneer woman. And here we were, 2 kids from Lynn, Massachusetts, holding our bodies against each other in a natural hot spring at the top of the world. Her long, wet, black hair touched the small of her back. Her crystal eyes, her crystal blue eyes, windowed the joy in her heart. The smile on her face unveiled that little girl who always knew that she was born to be a pioneer. This is one of my life's most treasured memories. I thought you said left here at 7. It's past 11. I am dragging myself up the stairs. And 16-hour days have a definite way of making me want to pull out my hair. And tomorrow is ringing my doorbell and it's singing, I am right down here waiting on you. I am weary as hell, I know only too well. There's not a whole lot I can do. And Terry is sleeping alone with the TV on. I am on the edge of the bed. And some guy on my TV is talking right to me. I don't hear a word that he says, because my mind is working against me, pointing all of my faults out to me. But hey, me and all my imperfections are tired. We just need to get us some sleep. I just need to lay me down beside my sleeping lady. And the only sound will be of gentle breathing. And during the hours we sleep, she is breathing a new life into me. Now when the morning erases the night, I will have what it takes to get back in the fight. If her breath is heavy or light or unsteady when I lie beside her this way, my body naturally knows that it has to be breathing the very same way. Please don't ask me about being married. Oh, how could I ever explain to someone what it means to a man to lie by his companion with their two bodies breathing as one? I just need to lay me down beside my sleeping lady. And the only sound will be of gentle breathing. And during the hours we sleep, she is breathing a new life into me. And when the morning erases the night, I will have what it takes to get back in the fight. And when the morning erases the night, I will have what it takes to get back in the fight. Alright, so I've been involved with a fair amount of young people. I call them young, they're in their 20s. I started an open mic in Lynn, Massachusetts for spoken word. It's called Speak Up. I started it 12 years ago. It's still going now. But when I started it and ran it for 8 years, it was specifically to reach the unreachable people. You know, I wanted to reach primarily the kids that were homeless and whose parents were drug addicts and all that stuff. And they're really hard to get those young people. But we got them all to come and learn how to express themselves. And so as a result, over years now, I've been keeping an eye on about a dozen of them, you know, just to see, because they're high-risk kids. A lot of them have drug problems and mental health issues and all that. But I love them, you know, and so they'll show me their poetry and stuff like that. And they will ask me, how do you know someone you're dating when you're 18 is going to be the person that you're going to be with, like you and Teresa? And I have no idea how to answer that question, but that doesn't stop me from lying to him. Well, I'll tell him anything. I'll be like, well, the first thing you look for in a potential partner is opposable thumbs. Because every married person in this room knows the most important ingredient for staying married a long time is to be able to turn the doorknob and get away from one another occasionally. But if they push me and make me be serious about it, I'll tell them a couple of things. And these are not things that I knew then, but I know looking back now. First thing I would say to them is, if you're trying to gauge somebody, gauge how they are under pressure. You know, like, do they get strong under pressure, or do they fall apart under pressure? It's really important over the course of a long relationship. And, you know, just think about the things that happen. We've had suicide in my family. My son was mugged at gunpoint. There's people who die. They get cancer, car accidents. All these things happen, right? So if the person you're with in those situations is falling apart and creating another thing for you to deal with, I don't know about you, but I could fall out of love with that. That's the one thing. The other thing is, do they make you laugh? Man, you cannot put a price on laughter in a relationship. Can't. It's like the great pressure release. And my wife is from the Projects in Lynn. She grew up in Curwin Circle. She's Irish. She's a McDermott. She's like Boston, Lynn, Project, wise ass funny. Like the best kind of funny that you could be, really. You know? And it's paid dividends. It really is. And I'm in the comedy business. You wouldn't know it by what I'm doing here tonight. I generally can see the joke coming, right? She'll catch me by surprise. I'll give you an example. Let's go back now to the song that I just sang. It's called Breathing. And the idea of that song is you go out into the world in the morning and you work all day long, and the job and the life and the pressure and the traffic, it sucks the life force out of you till you are an empty shell of the person you were at breakfast. And you come dragging one leg up the stairs on the way home, and there's nothing left of you. You are an empty vessel. And you lay beside your soulmate, and while you're sleeping, they breathe new life into you. I was so impressed with myself when I wrote this. I was like, you know, I may be a poet. This could be poetry. This is kind of like poetry. So I know we have some songwriters here scattered through the room. So this is my advice to you. When you write a song for your loved one, do not sit them in a chair and play the song for them. That is a high-risk proposition. Telling you, this is not like, what are they supposed to do? Give you a standing ovation? What if they don't like it? They're trapped there, right? So don't do that. So what I do for Teresa is I wait till she comes to a concert and she's surrounded by people that nobody's writing songs for, right? And I take advantage of the pressure of that, right? Like everybody around her going, boy, I wish someone would write a song for me. I'm just trying to put all the odds in my favor in this thing as best I can. And my wife will come to my concerts if I'm opening for someone she likes. So we're doing this show in New Hampshire. It's way up there in like the weeds of New Hampshire, and she's in the crowd, and I play the song, and then we're driving home. Long drive. Long, lonesome drive down from New Hampshire, and she's over here in this seat, and it's quiet, and the whole ride I can feel the side of my face getting hot, like there's some temperature over here. Right? So finally, she goes, that song? I go, yeah. She goes, do you want me to tell you what I think about it? I go, no. And this is what she said, and this is why I know I cannot find another person that would come up with this. I couldn't have seen this coming in a million years. This is Project Funny. This is, I don't know what you have to be. what kind of stars have to be in alignment the minute you're born for you to be able to come up with this. So she goes, no wonder every morning I wake up exhausted. That's right. You're sucking the life out of me. In the 18, 19, 20, 30, 43 years that we have been wed, I've wondered if you ever heard a word I said. Till I said, pass that remote control over here, and you told me to blow it out my ear. I love you, you're a sassy brat, you make me mad and you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half, let me grow with my sassy brat. When my fans call up and say that I'm great, you tell them that that is a huge mistake, that if they had to live with me they would understand what a big pain in the ass I am. I love you, you're a sassy brat, you make me mad and you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half, let me grow with my sassy brat. Now there are men that like women that they can manipulate, who bring them breakfast in bed and always tell them that they're great. Well, my sassy lady never does that for me, but at least a life with her is definitely not boring. She says, if you want me to believe that you're great, do a couple loads of laundry around here someday. Hey pal, it's only because you're still kinda cute that I haven't already gotten rid of you. I love you, you're a sassy brat, you make me mad and you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half, let me grow with my sassy brat. You say the kids have both gone to the show. Just checking that short-term memory. How about a little quickie before they come home? I say, I suppose you think you're really slick, the way that you keep emphasizing little and quick. I'm not that sure I love you, you're a sassy brat. You hurt my big fat ego and you make me mad. Please don't cut our time in half, let me grow with my sassy brat. Sassy bratty lady been hanging around here, driving me crazy all of these years. If I could ever afford to see a psychiatrist, I'd ask him, why the hell do I like being treated like this? We were in bed but we were still awake. You said, I really love you in this life we've made. I said, hey, can I quote you on what you just said? You told me if I did you'd punch me in the head. I love you, you're a sassy brat, you make me mad and you make me laugh. God, please don't cut our time in half, let me roll with my sassy brat. I hope it's not too much to ask, let me grow with my sassy brat. Alright, so this is a new song. I don't know what to do with new songs. Songs like can't make money from them. I don't know, like whatever. If my books are $25 and 2 for $40, something like that. But CDs, $10, $20. This, you can have 3 of them. Tell me you like my shirt, I'll give you a CD. Pretty hard to get rid of CDs nowadays.
Venmo.
Oh, and there's Venmo too. Oh yeah, Venmo. Some people watching in other parts of the world, Venmo. Don White Folk, Venmo is my Venmo thing. So Venmo, to my demographic, don't even bother. All right. All right. Now, so what I've decided to do, like a song now, you can't make any money from it. If it gets streamed, right? Streaming again, something. Ask grandchildren about it. Well, a 16th of a penny. That's what comes to the artist, right? So if you're the woman who sang at the Super Bowl, it's pretty good because a billion people will watch you, and the 16ths add up pretty good there. But for me, it's nothing. You know, it's zero. I get tragic checks from the streaming services. Like they're sad. You know, they're not worth the paper that they're on. So what I'm going to do for you, because you paid to come see me, is I'm going to give this song to you. Take your phone out and film it. Take it out now. Again, I did this for the first time. My nephew was in the audience, and he said, Don, if I could have filmed your audience trying to figure out how to film on their phone, it would have went viral. It would have been viral. You would have made more money off of YouTube than you did off your album sales. But for those of you that can figure it out, take your phone out and just film it. You can have the song. I'm giving it to you because I'd rather give it to you than give it to Spotify, is the way I feel about it. All right? So this song is for everybody who grew up in a home where the people that raised them, for whatever reason, weren't able to show them kindness, okay? You know people that are that way, maybe you are, and no judgment, but whatever, if they had drug problem, or they had anger issues, or mental health problems, whatever. So if you grew up in a house where nobody was kind to you, so you didn't learn kindness from your parents, or from the people who raised you, but you turned out to be kind, you found it within yourself, this song is for you. I feel like you deserve to know that somebody acknowledges the magnitude of the accomplishment. It's a significant accomplishment, because if you turned out the way that the people who raised you were unkind, that nobody would have been surprised by that, but you found it in yourself. So this song is called That's What Makes You Beautiful. Forgive me, it's a little wordy. It's going to use up all the battery in your phone, probably, to record it. But anyway, look at that. Okay. You were taught by your world that empathy and kindness were the kind of things that made a person weak. They said push and grab and fight every minute of your life and trample those between you and what you believe you need. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity, singing cruelty is always weak, but love and empathy are strong enough to break the chains of selfishness and greed. Gentle is the strongest thing to be. You know it is not your fault that heroin and alcohol made them both too ill to give their children what they really need. But it sure would have been nice to be encouraged once or twice, to feel safe at night, or to have a life with just a little normalcy. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. When you feel hatred in your heart, you just remember who you are, and that underneath the weight of hate, your heart cannot be free. Forgiving is the stronger thing to be. It's not the color of your eyes, it's not your hypnotizing smile, it's not any of the many things that everyone can see. It's the way you always knew what they told you wasn't true. It's how you made yourself the person that they taught you not to be. That's what makes you beautiful to me. A young man's eyes see beauty in what is on the surface, not within. He will walk past what is beautiful to be near the thing that shines. But these old man's eyes see beauty in the story, in the journey. They have seen too much to be fooled by what attracts a young man's eyes. From the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all those years of fear and insecurity. There was nothing that this world could do to crush the love inside of you. Under neglect, abuse, and selfishness, you were caring, kind, and generous. It is the lonely road that brought you here. It's how all alone you persevere. It's the defiance and tenacity of your heart song of humanity. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful to me. Everybody here for doing this. I've done this, been doing this a long time, and I've met a lot of people who do what artists do, and create spaces for music. And what, in my mind, what separates him from not all of them, but from a good percentage of them, is that he loves it.
I do.
Like it's so much work, and it's a kind of a constant thing. I'm sure he would agree, but he is just joyous about creating a space for art, and I just really love that about him. So let's give him a round of applause. Went to California when I was young. I stood beside the highway, waved my thumb. I met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums. They were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. People in Michigan say hello to people on the street that they don't even know. And drivers in Boston make a left-hand turn without turning their signal on. In 1993, if you were talking to yourself walking down the street, it was sad because it meant that you were crazy. Now it means that you're a businessman. It's not crazy, but still kind of sad. I went to California when I was young. I stood beside the highway, waved my thumb. I met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums. They were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. You know my boss is younger than my children are. I've got to tell you people, that is so bizarre. He's so adorable when he yells at me. It makes me want to pinch him on his cheek. And say coochie coochie coo coochie. I went to California when I was young. I stood beside the highway, I waved my thumb. Met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums. They were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. You know, a lot of good musicians used to say to me, you can't play guitar, you can't sing, so you could never make it in this here scene. And I don't think that they were wrong. But I wonder where they all have gone. the highway to wave my thumb. Met a lot of maniacs, met a lot of bums, they were all really kind to me. Life is not like TV. People in Michigan say hello to people on the street that they don't even know. And drivers in Boston make a left-hand turn without turning their signal on. They're not thinking about you at all. They just keep on rolling, they keep on rolling, they keep on rolling along. You know, 3 years of not being able to do this in front of a live audience, it made me really appreciate this. So I'm so grateful to see you all here. Thanks. I overheard a man complaining how his 401k was not performing quite how he would like it to. As he sipped his double latte and continued to complain, I thought about that day in 1982. We were living in the shack with the outhouse in the back. If I'm not mistaken, you were pregnant too. We thought it might be funny to count up all of our money and discuss all the investing we could do. We pulled our pockets inside out, we pulled the cushions off the couch, we stuck our fingers down deep inside. Emptied out the pockets of the jackets in our closet, but not one single penny did we find. So after the realization our financial situation was not conducive to investment at this time, we decided to invest in what we've always done best. Danced around the kitchen for a while, we do the victory dance. When life is such a mess, we don't know what else to do. We do the victory dance when being penniless became literal to me and you. Well, you can jump off of a building, you can take a bunch of pills, and you can walk around in a trance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, go on and do the victory dance. I got fired from a job I have been working at for 20 years faithfully. Oh dear, oh God of mine, how will I ever survive without a corporation taking care of me? I was so stressed out for weeks, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I didn't think that things would ever turn my way. And then a couple months went by, I began to realize, man, I really hated working at that place. So I started working for myself, I improved my mental health, now I'm happier than I've ever been before. Oh dear, oh my, oh God, I should have quit that stupid job 19 years ago. I do the victory dance when my life forces me to go out on my own. Then I just declare victory and I march my army home. There are things you can't control, things you'll never know. Some things are always left to chance. If you're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas, do the victory dance. When your life forces you to go out on your own, just declare victory and then march our army home. There are things you can't control, things you'll never know. Some things are always left to chance. But if you wake up in the morning on the right side of the lawn, if you're a clerk or you're a farmer, work from home in your pajamas. If your health is getting worse but you can still flirt with the nurse. If you lose your money but you still got your honey. If you lose your honey, but you still got some money. If you find it hard to cope because your kids are all on dope, don't surrender yet. Try not to forget in this game of life we're in. In this game of life we're in. In this game of life that we are in. If you don't die, you win. Alright, so I'm going to play a song that I wrote in the 70s. And it's my lack of having evolved since then. It makes it so I can still sing it with conviction. I'm singing for my row of Lynn people there, and some Lynn people scattered around anonymously in the place here. Here, this is called I'm from Lynn. What can I say? born in the city of Berlin, home of the first turbine engine. And as if that wasn't enough, it's also the home of marshmallow fluff. You can travel the whole country, you'll never find a bigger fluff factory. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. I don't talk slick like I'm from the hint. I'm the son of a 30-year GE man. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn, what can I say? I used to hang around in Barry Park. That's illegal after it gets dark. Stand on the bleachers where things got smoked and beer got chugged up, bottles got broke. Later in the evening when the police come, 27 juveniles are on the run. Juveniles are running everywhere you see, jumping over fences, climbing in trees. But Dawn is too loaded to get away. His name is in the paper on the next day. His mother and his father just can't believe he would publicly humiliate the family. I have to say that whole verse was a lot funnier to me before I had teenagers of my own. It seems like a sad legacy now, really. On the corner of every street, somebody's cooking something greasy to eat. Deep fat is frying everywhere you look. The town is bound for the record books. A million sub shops open all night long. A socio-intestinal phenomenon. I still think that's the best line I ever wrote. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn eat this way. There's no room in my stomach for French cuisine. Give me a bag of cheese curls and a submarine. Julia Child, get out of my way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? That's how you know when a song's been around too long, when it actually has dead people in it. I left Lynn 10 years ago. I didn't know where I was gonna go. 10 of my friends were leaning up against a bar and grill. 10 years later, they're leaning there still. Half of my friends who are not on the street are dead in jail or annoying me. And I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. I don't talk slick, that's what I said. They don't even let me into Marblehead. They're afraid I'll steal something, and I have in the past, and I'm still capable. Don't be staring at me that way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? All right, so I'm going to do something now I never do. And that I'm going to read from my older book. And this is a really Lynn thing I want to do here. And this, oh man. So I went to a place called Breed Junior High School. I was actually in that building. It's called the Druid School now, but it was, I was in it from the first grade to the ninth grade. It was elementary school and then the junior high school. So I still dream about that place. I could smell it, you know. And in those days, which would have been the 60s, they would put a letter next to your grade to sort of signify where you were going and what track you were on. So if you were in 7A or 7B or 7C or 7D in the 7th grade, like my friend over here in the 7th grade, if you were in 7A, B, C, or D, then you're on the college track. If you were in 7E, F, G, or H, maybe you were taking typing and going to business school. My class, 7I, it was kind of a containment area. I walked into 7I and I couldn't believe what I saw. Half of the students in there never got to the graduation picture. They spent 5 years in the 7th grade and then they went in the military or they went to jail, right? You know a 7th grader's scholastic career is reaching its end when he's driving his own car to school. And I didn't weigh anything more than this microphone stand at the time. I was a year younger than the people who were supposed to be in the 7th grade, and I was in this classroom with men. Men. That's how I became funny. Do you ever hear that saying, "You're funny, I'll kill you last"? I used to play this game. This is definitely nursing home stuff that I'm talking about now here. We used to play this game called Bombardment.
Yep.
Anybody?
Yep.
Raise your hand up if you play Bombardment. Do you have a head injury to show it? Bombardment, the young man over there behind the camera, it was this game. You take 2 soccer balls in the gym. You can't cross the center line, and you throw the ball at your classmates as hard as you can and try to kill them. Right? And if you catch the ball, that person that throws it is out. But when you weigh as much as this microphone stand, and the person is standing that far away from you, throwing a soccer ball at you, has tattoos from jail on his hand, and he's got a hairy chest, and he's driving a Camaro. Right? Every single breath of, most of what I say up here starts out with a little seedling of truth, and then I water it with exaggeration until it turns into a gigantic rainforest of lies. Right? This is true. Breed School was 2 buildings. There was a newer building called the Annex, and the original building, which is where which had been built in 1906. The older building was where they attempted to contain the students in 7I and 7J. Don't even ask me about 7J. 7J was like a work release program. And we had to take gym with them. Yeah. The floors creaked, the stairs were made of metal, the glass in the doors that swung open to the stairwells had been broken so often that the administration had begun using a special type of replacement glass that had chicken wire inside of it. These windows would still be routinely broken by the students, but the chicken wire would hold the pieces together and keep them from spraying down the corridor. The desks and the chairs had been there since 1906. They each had cast iron bases that were bolted to the floor. The school administration began replacing them in 1969 with the non-stationary type after the class of 7J discovered that the structural integrity of the classroom floor could be significantly compromised if everybody rocked back and forth at the same time in their bolted down chairs. The desks were made of wood. Each one had a hole in the top right corner that had once held an inkwell. The tops were engraved with witticisms from previous generations of West Lynn adolescents. These pearls of wisdom were often carved so deeply into the wood that you would have to place your work paper on whatever section had the shallowest carvings so your pencil wouldn't fall into a crater and tear your paper. The boys' room was a testimonial to 19th century engineering. Each toilet had a pull chain that would release water from a holding tank above the stall. There was no urinals. Instead, there was a 6-foot-high, 10-foot-long wall of slate. It had a thin perforated copper pipe running horizontally across the top. From holes in this pipe, small steady streams of water sprayed out and kept the wall wet. At the base of the wall was a small trough with a drain at the other end. Everyone in 7I and 7J had one thing in common: bad grades. But aside from a lack of scholastic achievement, we were a fairly diverse group. There were some good-natured slow kids who would now be diagnosed with learning disabilities, but in the 60s were just called stupid. There were the quiet kids who had a home life that was so messed up they weren't capable of concentration, and there was also a group of 6 or 7 really tough girls. This was my first exposure to young women whose destiny included significant jail time. They were always late for class. I suspected that their perpetual tardiness was intentional because they so loved to make the big entrance. These young ladies all had a God-given natural talent for drama. Miss Jones, you're late. Don't sit down. Go straight to the principal's office. Miss Jones ignores him, brushes off his commands like an insect from her shoulder, and sits at her desk. This may be the only few moments this month that Mr. Lewis will have the undivided attention of the entire student body. As a group, we place our elbows on our desktops, lean forward, rest our faces into our open palms, and watch intently as the familiar scene unfolds. Mr. Lewis repeats his command. Before he is half finished, Miss Jones lifts up her desktop and hides her head behind it. I am beside her, and I can see by her face how thoroughly she is enjoying both ignoring Mr. Lewis and the attention it has brought her. He walks to her desk, he shuts the desktop, and in so doing, accidentally touches her shoulder. Okay, boys and girls, now it's showtime! She leaps out of her seat, and with the head-bobbing swagger invented and perfected by 7th grade tough girls, she screams, "Don't you touch me! Don't you ever touch me! Who do you think you are?" And he repeats his command for her to get out of his class, and with every eye and 7 eye fixed upon her, she struts to the exit, sweeps a stack of math books off a table en route, slams the door behind her, and disappears into the hallway. We are ready to give a round of applause and a standing ovation to Miss Jones for her performance. But the beet red face of Mr. Lewis, counterbalanced by a throbbing blue vein at each temple, warns us against it. I remember thinking that whoever had the good fortune to marry the lovely Miss Jones could expect to see a grown-up version of this performance played out upon occasion in a restaurant or two during the course of their marriage. I feel like it took me a while to realize that that what was normal for me growing up was like horrifying for other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I always feel like when I tell those stories that people want to give me counseling or something like that. But we're okay. We're all right. You know, like if it doesn't. This is from my friend who graduated high school in Lynn in 1969. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock back in 1969. She keeps a ticket stub and a chunk of mud at her house in a little shrine. She was always the girl in the hippie dress twirling at the shows by the Grateful Dead. If you ask her about it, man, you better sit down. Grandma will talk the ears right off your head. If you get her talking about the Grateful Dead, the Summer of Love, or the Kool-Aid acid test, Jenny was always in her glory when she could hear the stories from her grandma's hippie friends about peace and love, taking care of one another, how great it all was back then. And at night she would dream of being on the bus with Keezy, seeing Jimmy in 69. But when she wasn't dreaming, she always had the feeling that somehow she'd been born in the wrong time. You know, you should have been 20 in 1969. All the gray-haired hippies say that all the time. But the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, man, they're having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. I love you, Grandma, but Barbara Ram Dass never said, be there then. It's gonna take a big leap of faith if you really want to find your tribe. Those were the first words that Jenny heard in a song that she found online. And that summer she drove all the way to Minnesota to the Shangri-La Festival. And there they all were, all the people like her who grew up believing that they were all alone. They said, hey girl, welcome home. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are driving down the road all the way to Minnesota, having all kinds of fun, singing Jimmy and Jerry are dead and buried and they're never coming back again. I love you, Grandma, but Barbara Ramdas never said, be there then. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969, and since then she believed there was never going to be a better time, and that's alright. But if you don't take your big leap of faith and get out there and find your scene, it will pass you by while you are trying to find your grandma's long gone Woodstock memories. Her Woodstock memories. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, man, they're having all kinds of fun, singing, there's only 1 minute and you're not living in it, it's never coming back again. I love you, Grandma, but Barbara Ramdas never said, never said, be there then. Getting tired. You are? I am. So this is right, we'll take a break and everyone get in their jammies. So let me explain to you what's going to happen so you'll know. So you won't be looking like, how long is this thing going to go on? Like, so I'll give you a timeline. So I'm going to sing a song now. I think sing a serious song after this one, then I'll tell a story, song, funny song, serious song, story, and then a song that will be the fake ending of the show. Let's review. Funny song, serious song, story, song that's a fake ending of the show, and then, if anybody's awake after that, I'll come back and do another song, and that'll be the real ending of the show. Try to remember all of that. Right. So here, so first thing, funny song. It's got a little story goes with it. In the state that I live in, Massachusetts, weed is legal now, and I'm glad it's legal. You remember when it was, like, I don't smoke it, but I'm glad nobody's going to jail for it. It seems ridiculous, people going to jail for it, but I don't use it myself. I did plenty when I was a kid, but now I don't, and I haven't for decades. So, do you remember when it was quasi-legal? Do you know what I mean? When you had to get your doctor to lie for you? Do you remember that? Like, Don has some glaucoma and some early signs of anxiety, so I'm prescribing 3 ounces of sticky Hawaiian bud for him. And I just walk in the store and you buy it, right? And that's good. I'm glad. Again, I don't use it myself, but I'm glad it's okay. That that's legal. Here's my issue. I have a couple issues. First one is in places like Lynn. I don't know about North Reading, but in Lynn, you can't go anywhere and not smell weed. It's coming out of churches and kindergartens and libraries and like hotel rooms and police cars and like if you walk by the cemetery and it's coming out of the cemetery. Like, how popular is it when dead people are smoking it, right? You pull up to an intersection and there's 3 other cars, like it's you and 3 other cars, and there's like smoke pouring out of all the cars, and you're like, go ahead. And they're like, oh, nah, man, you go ahead. concerned about two things. First one is joggers. I'm really worried about joggers. Like you leave your house totally sober, and you breathe deeply. You like pass the library and the police car and the intersection and the kindergarten, and you're huffing in all this smoke. And you come back in 3 hours with a 4-pound bag of Doritos. And you spend the next 24 hours binge watching sitcoms from the 70s. I don't even care about that. My real concern is about conversation. I missed talking to people face to face. That's the thing I missed the most during COVID. And we came here earlier, and me and Art had a nice talk. Maybe after I'll hang out with some of my friends here. And I love conversation. I learn from conversation. I listen well. I'm not one of those people that's just going over what he's going to say after you shut up. I'm actually listening to you. So the kind of conversation that I'm the most fond of, my favorite of all the conversations, is the kind where the person you're talking to can remember what you just said. I love that kind. And I'm concerned that those of us that like focused conversation, we're going to have to go underground. We're going to have like speakeasies. We'll call them speak coherently easies. I sat around with a bunch of stoners. I listened to them talk all night long. They were sure that their conversation was deep with meaning. They were wrong. 'Cause when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This isn't nothing at all. Let's do this like Pete Seeger style. You know what I'm talking about when I say that? Like I'll sing the line and I'll say the line, you sing it back to me. Because when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. It makes you stupid. I thought you knew it. I thought you knew it. But I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing. This is nothing at all. Nothing at all. Oh, Pete Seeger will be rolling around his grave right now. My friend Harry lit up a fatty to celebrate my brand new job. I watched his brain float out of my window. He left me talking, but he was gone. 'Cause when you smoke it, it makes you stupid. It makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, but I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing. This is nothing at all. Nothing at all. I'd have to get into character for this part. So it's 1979. Young man. I'm at my friend's parents' house. They're away for the weekend. We're down in the basement with all my buddies. There's a lot of smoke in the room. And I can see through the haze my best friend. And I can tell by the look on his face that he just had a thought so deep and so meaningful and so profound that when he speaks it, if I am only wise enough to take the power and the wisdom of this sentence that he's about to speak and to apply the knowledge of it to my own life, it will change the entire trajectory of my existence. So let me droop my eyes a little bit. Let me slow the song down to stoner speed. That's still too fast. Here you go. What if our whole life was just a dream, man? What if we're dreaming this right now. I forgot what I was just saying. Let's order pizza. Pizza, wow! Oh, and you smoke it, make you stupid, it makes you stupid. I thought you knew it, thought you knew. What I was wrong, what I was wrong. We're not having a conversation. This is nothing at all, nothing at all. It cures glaucoma. It cures insomnia. Some people say that it is a cancer cure, but it does not cure incoherent conversation. That's for sure. Yeah. All right, let's order pizza. Alright, so wait a second. Honey song? Okay, here's one. There's a new I haven't sang this in so long. I hope I remember. I yelled, I screamed, I swore, and she slammed her bedroom door. The house was completely still, and in that silent chill, I began to feel and hear the sounds of my own teen years. Didn't I always say my home would not feel this way? Hey kid, can I come in? Hey, can we start again? There's just too much at stake for us to keep on this way. If this family explodes today and the wounded go their own way, when the time comes to heal, will we still all be here? The pain in my mother's eyes the day that her father died was born in her teenage years of wounds that never healed. Your life keeps on calling you. You hear it call, I do too. It gets louder all the time. I know it won't be denied, but there's just a few short years where we will both live here for this precious and fleeting time. Let me see those brown eyes shine. The pain in my mother's eyes the day that her father died was born in her teenage years of wounds that never healed. If we make a deal today to stop making their mistakes, when the time comes to say goodbye, you won't have my mother's eyes for this precious and fleeting time. Let me see those brown eyes shine. to be the worst comedy show in the history of the world. What if I say that was the last song of the night and you were all leaving, like your friends were out there picking you up. Hey, how was the comedy show? It was the worst comedy show. Story. I'll tell you a story now. Okay, so I have always have held a day job until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, something like that. I installed security systems in people's houses. And because I'm from Lynn, I always said that it was a public service. I spent 25 years of my life just trying to keep my friends out of other people's houses. You're welcome. You're welcome. So one day, quite a while ago, I was swinging a hammer in the south end, running fire cable. And all day long, I had a sharp pain run down my left arm. Sharp pain, left arm, old people. Anybody want to talk about this? Not good, right? When I tell young people I got a sharp pain running down my left arm, they're like, why don't you go to the gym? But us seasoned people know that the gym's not going to solve this problem. And so all day it stays running down my left arm, then it goes across my shoulder blades, and then across my chest. So I'm having it there, and across my shoulder blades, and I'm having chest pain. Chest pain. And I am a conscientious father and a conscientious grandfather. A lot of people counting on me in this world, so I didn't waste 1 minute. I didn't waste 1 second. I went directly, and I mean directly, to the internet. I started typing in my symptoms, and it kept bringing me to this website, www.guesswho'shavingahheartattack.omg. So I have two doctors. I have a bad doctor, and I have a horrible doctor. So I called my horrible doctor, and I left a message describing my obvious heart attack symptoms. Right? 3 hours, nobody called me. Finally, my other doctor called me, and he's not a bad doctor. He's a good doctor, but he's old. He's been treating people in Lynn, Massachusetts for 45 years. So I would describe him as a little disappointed in humanity. Like the particular cross-section that he's had to treat in his career hasn't aspired him to any great hope for the future of the species. He calls me back, Don, what's going on? And I explain to him. He goes, you need to go to the emergency room. I go, I'm going to go to bed. And he made this sound, which I've translated. And this is the translation. I need to retire soon. All my patients are idiots. But I don't want to go to the emergency room. I don't know where you live, but I'm going to assume that your emergency room experience is a reasonably civilized one. In Lynn now, we don't even have a hospital. Like, we don't even have one. Like, the new medical plan for Lynn is that you die in the ambulance on Highland Avenue going over to Salem. That's the new plan. Back in these days, we had one. And I wanted to describe it to you. I want to describe what it would be like at this hour on a Saturday night in the Lynn emergency room of old. But I can't describe it. It is not describable. It's what the world looks like just before it ends. It's unbelievable down there. It's like everybody's jaded and they've seen so much insanity. And I don't want to make fun of this because I have friends with this problem and all that stuff. But everybody's down there looking for pain meds. They took a brick to their own hand, smash. Oh, I need some OxyContin. And it's just insane down there. It's insane. Right? And so I don't want to go. But I go. I go, and I walk in there, and I learned something. Something really important. I want to share it with you. But first, let me tell you what happened. I go in, and there's glass. It almost looks like it's bulletproof. It's got a little metal thing in there. You talk to it, to the kid behind the thing, and the kid says, Mr. White, what's going on? I said, young man, I'm having chest pain, and that's what I learned. You know how when you go to the hospital it takes a long time to see the doctor? Well, there's 2 words that you can say that change all of that. And the words you can say are chest pain. Chest pain are the magic words. You say chest pain, like the duck comes down and Groucho gives you the money. Joe comes in there. Groucho, you bet your life? Come on, you have to be ancient to know that. All right. So I go up and I go to the kid. I go, he goes, what's going on? I go, young man, I'm having chest pain. He went, chest pain? Mr. One, you are our grand prize winner. A disco ball came down, there was confetti flying every place, a band was playing, everybody's, the drums are going. He's like, step right in. We have a nice table for you over by the window. Your waitress will be with you in just a minute. And behind me, all the people with the busted hands, right? They're like, what does that guy have? He's got chest pain? I have that. I need some pain meds for my chest pain. So I go in there, and they gave me nitroglycerin. I never had it before. I loved it. I can't explain to you how much I loved nitroglycerin. I was like lethargic and bent over and like this, and they put this pill under my tongue. In 2 seconds, I was like, whoa! I felt blood going to parts of my body that I haven't seen blood in 15 years. All my arteries were open. I'm like, I love this stuff. And I thought to myself, why, as a man of the 60s and 70s, has it taken me so long to discover this little gem? And then they gave me morphine. I'm like, nitroglycerin and morphine? No wonder all these people are hanging around down here. So now I'm in a completely altered state of consciousness. I'm singing Grateful Dead songs. Good time. My kids come and my wife come, and they're looking down at me. And you know, in a movie, like when a guy's on his deathbed, they'll put the camera on the pillow and it's looking up at the 3 blurry heads of the guy or the family, you know. My son, my daughter, and my wife, and they're looking down at me. Dad, we love you. Don't worry, your brother's coming. Your sister's going to be here. We got the best doctors in the world. Well, Dad, maybe not the best. We're not sure they're any good at all, really. But we're going to pay attention, hope they don't kill you. And I can see that they're worried. And I don't want them to worry. I love them. I couldn't possibly love them any more than I love them. So I know that I have to say something comforting to them. And I want to, and I'm going to. And I want to, and I'm going to. And I want to, and I'm going to. But I have to remind you, I am in a significantly altered state of consciousness here. So I open up my mouth to say my comforting thing that I have created back here in the right rear quadrant of my brain, and I'm hoping that when I open my mouth up, it'll make the long journey out, around, and out. But I'm not sure what's going to happen. I open my mouth up to say the comforting thing because I love these people and I don't want them to worry, and this sound comes out. Have you guys ever tried nitroglycerin? It's unbelievable! That's going to be great on local cable. I love it. All right. So the next day they gave me a stress test and they passed it. And they said, Mr. White, what kind of medication do you take? I said, I don't take any except lisinopril, high blood pressure medication, because I have been married for 35 years. And for some reason it's destroyed my vascular system. And this is what they found out. My regular doctor was giving me maybe a little bit too much high blood pressure medication, and 6 weeks earlier, for some reason that nobody's been able to explain to me, my horrible doctor doubled the dosage. Doubled the dosage. And it turned my blood into some kind of mixture of mud and maple syrup, and my heart was like, I can't push this crap through here. This is the part of the show where I just entertain myself. So, at this point in the story, we need a moral. Like if you were looking at a picture of this story, there'd be an empty space here with arrows pointing at it, saying, insert moral here. I got nothing. I have no idea what the moral of the story is. But I'm thinking about it. And I'm thinking about a lot of things. I'm 65 years old. I had prostate cancer. I had surgery. My doctor told me I had to put my affairs in. Like I'm had some serious things happen regarding my mortality. So I want to say this to you. Thank you for coming out tonight. And I'll say this one thing to you, and I mean this. And this is it's an important thing. I just want to say to you, if there's one person in this room tonight, even one single person, who happens to have any extra nitroglycerin, you want to meet me at the CD table, there's a good chance that you could go home with the entire Dawn White collection. Alright, so this is the fake ending of the show. So normally at the end of the show, I would do my last song, which I'm pretending to do now, and then I would go backstage and wait for encore. Hey. Get ducked behind that thing. If it's still raining, if it's not raining, I'll run out that door. How's that sound? It all seems ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my last song, Wink Wink, and when I'm done, I'm going to stand here like this. And then, if you like another song, you make a bunch of noise and I'll come back, but if you've had enough, believe me, I would understand that. Go home. I'm getting the money no matter what happens. Good. It's a privileged life. Everybody in my family worked in factories. Nobody had a life where, if I could have told my Irish side of my family, like the wise guys, like my uncles and aunts, that I made a living just standing up lying to people, right? They would have thought, you mean what we do around this table, they pay you for? I'm like, yeah. You wouldn't have believed it. But it's a very privileged life, and I can feel your hearts. I know you're good people. And so this is a song called Angel in Pieces. It's about believing in people when they're not well enough to believe in themselves. It's a noble thing that you do when you do that. When somebody's so depressed or so messed up or so upside down, and they look at you and you believe in them, even though they can't see their wings, they can't see their potential, but they can see it through the reflection in your eyes. It's a noble thing, and I know that everybody in this room does it on some level, somewhere along the line. And on behalf of humanity, for whom I am the official spokesperson, I want to thank you for that. She walked into the room like she was walking off a cliff. In my mind I said, what kind of shattered angel is this? Her walk said, I've surrendered. In her face, I've had enough. Her eyes were holes, they were dark and cold. They said, I've given up. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Fly. You know, life rains down so hard upon some people that we know. It tears their faith and their hope away, and they walk around like ghosts. And we see them as they are breaking, and as their spirit dies. But deep inside, we still believe they will come alive and fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe it. she walks across the room like she could walk across the sky. And those old dark eyes are so alive, they set the room on fire. This is no shattered angel, I say to myself. I feel Zuzu's petals, I hear one small bell. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Look how beautiful you are. Song and we'll sing it together. It's called Irene Goodnight. How's that sound? Yeah. You know it? I want to teach it to you? Yep. Irene Goodnight. Irene Goodnight. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. A little bit better if you don't mind. Irene, good night. It's gonna be on cable. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Alright, so this is an old folk song. And a lot of old folk songs, I've noticed something about them. It's a waltz, but it's kind of a perky melody. But just for the sake of discussion on the way home, I want you to pay attention to how many of the verses are about killing yourself. Okay, thank you. Sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in the town. Sometimes I get a great notion to jump into the river and drown. Irene, good night. That sounds good. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Well, I love Irene, and God knows I do. I will love her till the river runs dry. And if Irene turns her back on me, I'm gonna take a morphine and die. Irene, good night. It's a beautiful love song. That's right. That's right. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. This is an old song. Started out with Lead Belly, and it was rougher when Lead Belly had it. It had all kinds of rough stuff in it. And then the Weavers, Pete Seeger's band, they made it the most popular song in the world. There was a time, I think in the 40s maybe, where this was the most popular song on planet Earth. And this is a verse that the Weavers did not sing. But it's an actual verse though. Sometimes Irene wears pajamas, and sometimes Irene wears a gown. When they are both in the laundry, Sometimes I get a great notion to jump into the river and drown. A big finish now.